What's going on, everybody? How we doing today? Gonna give a second for people to roll in. What's going on? How we doing? I almost forgot to don the Accountability for All hat because we got a great video for you today, so I'm really excited to go over it. Yes, the video before yesterday did quite well, and I was exploring a new experiment. This injustice system that we have is really ineffective, and it's ineffective because it's really not a system; it's more of a procedure, right? There's no checks and balances. It's going through motions. You go to a problem, you get arrested, right? And then the officers write an affidavit or a police report or a probable cause report. It goes to the judge. How it's supposed to happen is the judge looks at the probable cause report and decides if the police met their burden. Did they have reasonable articulable suspicion to conduct an investigation? Did they reach the higher bar of probable cause to effect an arrest? The judge looks at that and then decides if there was probable cause, and then they normally set another court date. Pretrial conferences, they go through all the different court dates, discovery. What normally happens is someone gets arrested, you go in front of a judge, it gets rubber stamped, and that's it, right? Oh, you got arrested. I'm not going to argue the facts of the case. Let's set it for another day. It's not how it's supposed to go down. That's how it normally does go down. So we found Judge David Fleischer, and he dropped a couple cases that didn't have probable cause. I've been doing a deep dive into this guy, and I really like him. So we're going to look at a couple of his cases today where he found no probable cause. I want you to see that a very small part of the injustice system works. So let's get into the first one. Okay, this is on a channel called The Courtroom Files. There's a whole bunch of Judge Fleischer channels dedicated to him, but you gotta watch him. I mean, this guy is a comp's worst nightmare. Let's check him out.
Yeah. And that's what leads you to believe that he's drunk. We have an accident, I get it, but there's just an odor of alcohol. There's no slurred speech, no bloodshot eyes, just an odor.
Hey there, welcome to the Courtroom Files. So it's often very easy to believe that Judge video we're giving to them, which is why.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Hey.
How's it going?
Been a while. How are you? What's new?
Yes.
I'm right. Thanks. Good morning.
Now, I will say that this county specifically, especially in Texas, which is strange, it's not really a law enforcement backing judges community. You had a judge tried and fired a couple years back for, they said that he was biased against prosecutors. What they're really saying is he has a problem with police. And in this interview, people from the police union explained how this judge is no good. You have another judge that walked out of a commission meeting and was booed by law enforcement. Law enforcement showed up in droves. Over 50 different cops from 50 different agencies wanted their budget increased, not decreased. This judge got so sick and tired of it, she just said, you know what, I'm sick of this. She walked out. All of the cops booed. Not one of them held in contempt. And then you have Judge David Fleischer. So it seems like from this county specifically, we have at least 3 different cases in the past 2 years where these cops are getting held accountable. And watch some of the cases that this judge is going to try today.
Good morning, Mr. McCaskey. So you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you.
October 26th, officer was dispatched to a major crash in Harris County, Texas. Upon arrival, the officer observed the defendant sitting in the driver's seat of his motor vehicle with his keys in his lap and with an odor of an alcoholic beverage. The defendant.
Now let's go over what we do in field sobriety tests. Now, field sobriety tests are not designed to help you. I actually asked a police officer to give me a field sobriety test, and I failed it, and I was stone cold sober. They're not designed to help you. Now, let me see real quick. Now that I wasn't planning on mentioning that, let me see if I can find it. All right, I got it. I got a field sobriety test that I did myself. I'm going to play it for you guys. It's from about 4 years ago. I asked a cop to give me a field sobriety test, and I wanted to show people watching that it doesn't really matter if you've had anything to drink or not. You can fail a field sobriety test. Now, this officer told me that I passed. You can very clearly see that, I was, watch for yourself. I'm going to pull this one up for you. I don't know how long some of you guys have been watching, but I was out in Indiana just ripping it up.
What's going on, man? How are you?
Pretty good, and you? How's it going, Bill?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Pretty good, and you?
Not too bad. The weather's finally getting nicer at night. It's been freezing the past couple of weeks.
You think it's been cold?
Yeah.
Or more if they said Uber Eats.
Look at how that was going to go down because Michael's is Betty.
Oh, that's not it. I'm looking for the one that was my field sobriety test. Guys, you got to see this. It's fantastic. Hold on, guys. I'm pretty sure that might have been it. I just didn't see me. Check. Goes checks the curdling just because he didn't give me a DUI. Here we go. I got it. Sorry, guys. Here it is. Oh, you don't want to miss this. You do not want to miss this. This is fantastic. And then we will get back into your regularly scheduled programming, I promise.
Not gonna fucking respond. I was trying to get that on. EFK is right. We just did a DUI stop. Number one, don't agree with the tests. Okay, they can use it against you. Number two, never take the breathalyzer.
Here, let me clear this real quick here.
Sure. Yep. All right. What do you think? Think a pass? And it was weird.
Have you ever tried doing that at home?
I've never tried doing it at home. I did it once a couple of years ago. I had to do 3 of them and then take us breathalyzer. I've never tried it. I tried right now, but then I stopped.
Look like he's gonna fall over.
No, real quick. I'll do it real quick one here. I always read it. I got instructions that I usually read.
Right.
They'll do like an expedited version of it.
Yeah,
Okay. We'll do by the book type thing, but kind of expedited.
Sure.
version. Okay. So go ahead, place your left foot on that white line right there.
Right.
Place your right foot in front of your left foot, touch your heel toe. Put your arms down by your side. Hold that position until I tell you to start. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. Hold it again. Take 9 heel toe steps forward on the line. Turn around, take 9 heel toe steps back. It's going to look something like this. 1, 2, 3, and so on until I tell you to stop.
Just for some context, guys, look at the cop as he goes. He's even wobbling, doing his instructions for the field sobriety test. He's already failed. Oh, thank you, Jody. Thank you so much. So even the cop is not going to be able to pass his own test, but let's watch.
You're going to make, I'm sorry, I didn't turn correctly. So it's going to look like this. Left foot on the line, right foot.
You can't even explain it correctly.
Left foot, touching the toe, just like this. 1, 2, 3, up to 9. And then when you get to that, once you get to step number 9, I want you to make a turn. Right. 1 second.
Now he needs a second. He just needs 1 second to get himself together. I mean, this is fantastic. Cop's trying to explain to me how to do a field sobriety test. Maybe he's drunk. And I always shoot for firsts, okay? I think, I haven't heard otherwise. You tell me if you found one. First auditor to get a cop to give him a field sobriety test. First auditor to have a cop submit to a cursory search and a pat down of his person. I mean, we gotta shoot for firsts is what we gotta do. I'm gonna run this back for a second because this cop now I realize retrospectively 4 years later that I was actually giving him a field sobriety test and he failed.
Tell you to stop. You're going to make, I'm sorry, I didn't turn correctly. So it's going to look like this. Left foot on the line, right foot in front of your left foot, touching the toe, just like this. 1, 2, 3, up to 9. And then when you get to that, once you get to step number 9, I want you to make a turn. Right. 1 second. Excuse me.
Small steps, right?
Yes, you're going.
Did you guys see that? Excuse me. This guy was drunk. I didn't even realize this. I was so excited for the fact that I got a cop. Who chases down a sobriety test? I do. But I was so excited that I didn't even realize he was shit-faced at the time.
You're going to take short, small steps and pivot on your front foot. Okay?
Sure.
Or on your back foot, sorry, just like this.
And this is how you remove the disconnect between the police and the people. Right here, what this guy's going out of his way to do.
What this really is it's a new game called How to Catch a Cop Shit-Faced by Pretending That You Want a DUI. This cop is probably drunk as the day is long, and all I had to do to get him to show how drunk he was appeal to his ego. I mean, this was not hard.
Back. Yeah, just like I should be. When you turn, keep the front foot on the line, and turn by taking some small steps. To the foot, watch your feet, keep your arms at your side, count your steps on top.
I understand. I feel like I should pass just for being.
And guys, you guys want to see Nanner do a field sobriety test? Let's get to $50 in super chats, and we'll have Nanner do a field sobriety test. I will issue it, and whenever you give me the ability to be a tyrant, I am the worst cop in the planet.
Yeah. You didn't start when you were told not to. I told you to hold it, stand there until I tell you to start. So you go ahead and start. So you do.
That's one thing they look at. Then obviously they look at how straight you walk and if you're actually heel to toe.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Then they're going to watch that turn.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
What do you guys think? I think he failed. I think he should go to jail.
That was good. Good. All right, next one is the one leg stand.
Now, do I hold my hands up like this?
No, your arms will be down by your side. So,
Now, I don't remember, but let's see if this cop tries to give a demonstration on how you're supposed to stand on one leg. Because this cop might be totally hammered. And I was like straight as a whistle, no booze, no nothing. And I had trouble doing this. Nana's doing a field sobriety test. Oh, that's going to be great. All right, it's pouring today. As you know, you guys can't see it. It's pouring today. So what I'm going to do is when it stops raining this evening at some point, I'm going to have Nana go outside, and we're going to live stream, maybe tomorrow. I can't be raining. We're going to live stream a failed sobriety test, and we're just going to see how good she does. I think this is going to be fantastic. Guys, I've already arrested my wife once. I had the chief of police of a town allow me to fingerprint her, lock her in the cell. So we're just going to keep pushing the boundaries. Let's see how this cop does. Thank you, Kentucky girl. You rock.
go ahead, stand with your feet together, arms at your side. When I tell you to begin, raise one leg, either leg, approximately 6 inches off the ground. Point your toe, keep both legs straight, your arms at your side.
What do you think, guys? What do you think? Kentucky Girl's right. We could do it in the house. It's going to be very hard to do it on the laptop, so we will do the field sobriety test in the house. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna release it. I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to release it for the members first and put it in the members chats so the members and Kentucky Girl can see it. And then I'm going to release it later so everyone else can see it. Good idea. I love the ingenuity, Kentucky Girl. That's how we do it. That's how we do it.
Okay. 2001, 2002, 2003, so on. While holding that position, count out loud in this manner, 2001, 2002, is like demonstrated. If any time you put your foot down, raise it and continue to count until it's told to stop. Okay? All right.
1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009. Is it 1010? 1011, 1012, 1013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Did I pass that one?
Welcome, Gregory. Welcome.
So
that
they
was kind of like a methodology version.
Yeah, I got you. That's hard. Like I haven't had anything to drink, and I feel like that's hard.
Yeah,
It's more nerves.
it takes some balance. We're looking for people using their arms, putting their foot down majority of the time, and sometimes people.
That too. It's
We
not
try to
just,
All right. So that was me taking a field sobriety test, which leads us back to the video that we're covering today. What is probable cause? What exactly does an officer need? So, there's three things that we look at. Number one, they need to detect an odor of alcohol. But an odor of alcohol in itself is not an indicator that someone has operated under the influence, because, of course, the legal limit is 0.08. Depending on your body mass, how far along ago you drank, if you've had something to eat, all depends on if you are considered still DUI or OUI, depending on which state you live in. So just that is not enough. Second thing that we're looking at is slurred speech. Are they able to maintain clear and decisive speech? Are they slurring their words? Are their thought patterns complete, or are they all over the place? And lastly, glazed eyes, right? Once we see that these three parameters have been met, then we can start talking field sobriety tests. The cop in this video didn't do any of that. He just said, I smell alcohol. Let's start doing some testing. And this is what Judge David Fleischer had to say about that.
The defendant stated he drank prior to driving. Standard field sobriety tests were performed. HGN 4 out of 6, walk and turn 4 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. The DIC was read and the defendant consented to breath, but the defendant was unable to do the test. A blood warrant was then signed and executed.
It was really quick. So where was he?
So it was a major crash in Harris County, Texas, specifically on 2201 Southwest Freeway.
Okay, and then what?
The officer arrived and he was in his driver's seat, and the officer observed his keys in his lap, and then he observed an odor of alcoholic beverage.
Just an odor. Anything else?
And then the defendant made a statement that he drank prior to driving.
Yeah.
And that's
What leads you to believe that he's drunk? It's all.
Okay, so there was an accident. Now, it's called, like, what would a reasonable person think? A reasonable person has had a car accident. Most people have. Secondly, he admits that he has had an alcoholic beverage before driving. It doesn't say that he says he's had multiple alcoholic beverages. He's under the influence. In fact, he's being honest. Most people would say I've had nothing to drink to cover up the fact that they have been drinking. I say don't talk to the cops. Invoke your right to remain silent. Don't help them whatsoever. Don't take the field sobriety tests if they're asked of you, because why help them? You go have your day in court and your lawyer can explain why you didn't take the field sobriety test. If you take it and you fail, it can be used against you. If you don't take it, you can't fail. It can't be used against you. And not taking the field sobriety test is never an admission of guilt. But let's continue to watch.
We have an accident. I get it. But there's just an odor of alcohol. There's no slurred speech, no bloodshot eyes, just an odor.
Yes, sir. All that was written was the odor was observed, and then the statement made about him drinking.
Gatsky. I have an accident. All I have is an odor of alcohol. What can you, other than the accident, what can you lead me to believe that he's drunk or intoxicated?
The defendant stated he drank prior to driving.
We don't know how many, we don't know how much, we don't know when it was happening.
I explain it this way, folks. If you're walking down the street and you have a firearm on your hip, right? A police officer can't come up to you and detain you and demand to see your license to carry a firearm if you live in a state where you need a license to carry or a license to carry conceal. Or if it's in a state with, constitutional carry, they can't say, are you a felon? You're carrying a gun. Let me see your ID. Police try and like to work the law backwards, right? They like to find the end game. This guy, I think, shouldn't have a gun. So now let me work backwards and find out all the reasons I think he shouldn't by violating the hell out of his rights. It's the same in this case. Because he had a drink doesn't mean that he was drunk. If I'm the judge, I'm asking the prosecutor, have you ever had a drink with dinner? You did. Did you drive home? Okay, just had one drink, you drove home. You must be drunk. Because this is how the cop logic and the prosecutor logic works. If you do it, Mr. Prosecutor, you just had one drink, you committed no crime, and then you drove. But the same thing you did, now you're saying this man is driving to endanger and he's driving while intoxicated.
Well, Judge, I don't think that's necessary to provide probable cause for the case. He's admitting to drinking. He's got odor of alcohol in the breath, and the accident itself is evidence of intoxication, Judge. All of that, in our opinion, is enough for probable cause.
An accident itself is probable cause. How many of you at home have gotten a car accident and you've not been drunk? Put a 1 in the chat. If you've gotten a car accident and you weren't drunk, put a 1 in the chat. Okay. All right, we got the ones coming in. These people: Eyes on Margate, Dark Wolf, Kentucky Girl, Travis Newcomb, Sean Lovin, Sassy Kisses, Charles Viner, Willie Martin, Lucky 225, Through My Lens, Joey's Channel. A lot of ones coming in. Okay, but that makes sense. Not when you're trying to get your guy. Prosecutors have one job: to secure a conviction. The secondary goal that's subscribed to that job is try and keep your conviction ratings high, right? Prosecutors don't want less than a 95% conviction rating, and their job is to get their guy. It doesn't matter if there's logic intact. It doesn't matter if what they're saying makes sense. And in most cases, what you're seeing right now doesn't happen. Okay, all the times I've ever been to court, I've never seen the judge say, no probable cause. They don't even get that far. They don't read it. The prosecutor reads the police report. They read what happened. The defense puts in a plea of not guilty. You move forward to discovery. You go to the next date. That's it. This judge has a healthy idea that cops lie, and that prosecutors, even understanding that the lie exists, will still push the case forward.
I don't think so. I mean, usually there's a lot more than just that. An odor, we don't have anything else. I don't know when, I don't know how many, I don't know how strong it is, just an odor.
Not every case has extrapolation or admissions of how many.
I understand it. I understand, Michael, but I need just a little bit more than just an odor and an accident.
And admissions of drinking, Judge?
Okay, we don't know when. The officer can't do any more questions than that. Okay, when did you do it? How many did you have? Did you have anything to eat?
Understood.
All right, I'm going to find no probable cause, Mr. McGaskey. It's very possible if they take it to a grand jury and indict it. But so I would be on the lookout. Number one. Number two, you know how many accidents and death we have every day due to alcohol and getting into a car? I'm going to find no probable cause. Just take a seat for a moment. Thank you, Mr. Jeff. Hey, Anna. Come on up.
Now we're going to go into the next video, and to break it down, one of this judge's most famous and viral videos is of a teenager. Teenager is walking across the street. He's halfway through the street with the continue to walk sign is on, and then the sign says stop. Now he's halfway in the middle of the street. So at this point, technically, if he walks backward or he walks forward, he's jaywalking. The cops find him. They see him jaywalking. They say they detect an odor of marijuana, and then they search him. The prosecutor was a quarter of the way into explaining the police report when this judge dropped it cold. He understands that profiling exists, and this is not that case. We'll show that one afterwards, but let's watch this. Let's watch how this judge talks about the cops here.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm approaching, the last name is Amy, A-M-Y. He's in custody.
Okay.
Can we hear PC on this one, Judge?
Sure, of course.
Yes, sir. The officer observed the defendant speaking to two other individuals and conducting a hand-to-hand transaction. The officer stopped his vehicle near the defendant, and when the defendant saw the officer, he started leaving on his bicycle.
Now, I was in Elwood, Indiana. Okay, little hole in the wall. I had no name audits with me. And what I did is I took a sugar packet. There's stories that these cops violate you left and right out there. So this kid tells me, listen, if you're even talking to me, if you're even shaking my hand, there's not a lot to do around here. I'm getting yoked up. You're getting yoked up. We're all getting searched. And I said, yeah, we're not doing that today. So I gave him a sugar packet. Okay. He takes the sugar packet and he walks up to No Name, and he says hello. He gives them the sugar packet. They walk away. The cops were on us in seconds. They were assaulting us. There was a big investigation that went into it. They investigated themselves and found no wrongdoing. The point is that just because you're shaking hands with somebody does not mean you're dealing drugs. Let's watch.
The officer began to follow the defendant, and the defendant actively avoided the officer by changing directions frequently. The officer stopped the car and told the defendant to stop. The defendant continued to flee until losing his balance on his bike, and the defendant stated he did try to flee because he had an active parole warrant. So,
what was he doing wrong?
Now, real quick, I have to interrupt very quickly because I have a case of drunk in my home right now. And we have to hold ourselves accountable first. So we have someone in the home. We've probable cause and reasonable or articulable suspicion that they consumed too much of a milkaholic beverage. Yep. As you can see, her seatbelt is fastened, but her hair is kind of tousled. She has a glazed look on her face, and she's not talking to us. She's not speaking to us. I would have to say in this case that she's consumed too much of a milkaholic beverage. I'm going to find probable cause that Carol Ruby is under the influence. Get me a gavel. I have one actually right over there. I need my gavel.
Wrong.
The officer observed what appeared to be a hand-to-hand narcotics transaction.
Okay. Was the other person doing it? Did he do it?
It was
Did they find any dope?
probably the county dope, but what they did observe was him on his bike and stopping with someone else.
And did he even notify himself as police? You know, one of the conditions on an evading arrest is you have to notify that you're a police, that you're a police officer. You can't just yell stop.
Let me see the.
Now, also, I have a guest judge with me today. This is Payne. He's an 11-week-old Akita. Payne, what do you say? Do you find probable cause? Huh? Look, he's huge. Do you find probable cause? He doesn't. He probably just wants to lick himself. Back to the video.
See the dims.
Sure.
You have that the officer was riding in a marked patrol vehicle as he was following the defendant. So there is that, as well as.
Does that imply?
My client was
know.
on a bicycle. He was riding a bike.
And that's when they were following him in the marked patrol vehicle while he was on his bicycle, and then yelling at him to stop.
Did they find any evidence of a narcotics transaction? They obviously didn't find him with any dope. Did they find him with like a large cash? And then let's look at the statute. What is your argument?
Well, my argument is that he was just riding his bike. In the DIMS, it does say, and I quote, where did I just lost it? The defendant looked at me and attempted to flee. I don't know how you attempt to flee.
Well, I guess just go the other way from him.
That's fleeing, though.
And then it says in the DIMS as well that the officer observed the defendant look at the marked patrol vehicle and then change directions as he viewed.
You know how many people do that? You know how many people just look at a police car? I do it too.
Yes, Your Honor.
He's also riding.
Scared too.
He's riding a bicycle. He needs to pay attention to traffic.
And Your Honor, the only thing is that took place after what appeared to be a hand-to-hand narcotics transaction. That's what the officer wrote in the DIMS.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. All right,
Yes,
no
Judge.
problem.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
All
Maybe.
right, yes, ma'am.
And again, we find a case of no probable cause. This is something that's going to happen consistently in these videos. Now, let me pull up the one that made Judge Fleischer viral in the first place. And also, let me tell you something. Running from police is not probable cause. Okay, I wasn't in Indiana. I'm seeing if I can find it. I'll find it. I was in Indiana. I saw a police car. I purposely ran in the other direction. He jumped out the car wanting ID, and he got a real healthy owning. Like bad. He needed butt hurt cream to close his weeping vagina because of just how bad I destroyed him. You can look in another direction. You can walk away from police unless you're legally detained. You don't have to stick around and talk to cops at all. The judge recognizes this. Let me show you real quickly his first viral video. This is just a clip of it, not from the original channel.
Here it is.
Officers were dispatched to a possession of marijuana investigation at 100 Hollows Tree Lane in Harris County, Texas. Officer was informed defendant crossed unauthorized crossing point from convenience store to apartment complex. Officer observed strong odor of marijuana.
Wait. He did what?
It says he crossed an unauthorized crossing point. So I guess he crossed the street.
To jaywalking?
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor. And then
Walking while black.
and it says the officer observed a strong odor of marijuana, and he was informed that the defendant had begun to walk backwards upon being asked about marijuana by another officer. A PC search was conducted, and the officer observed a large sack of marijuana.
I don't think so. He's walking while black. I don't think so. I'm going to find no probable cause.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Blake, be careful, man. You know, the world is against you. Don't let him be. Do something with your life. You know.
I mean, I can show you example after example. Let's watch the next video. And we got to showcase this. We have to showcase this, not just as like an attaboy to this judge, but we have to hold the other judges accountable. This is the bar, right? Judges often rely on prosecutors doing a null prosequi or a null pros, right? It happened to me in St. John's the Baptist Parish, Louisiana. I'm filming on a jail property. They come out, they arrest me, and it turned into a scene, right? They arrest us. We were still alive. We were strip searched, given TB shots, all that stuff. When they finally got calls saying that they bit off more they could chew, and they had some big time activists out there, they wound up releasing us, right? But even though we were free to go, they drove us 3 hours away and dropped us off 3 parishes away behind a shopping mall in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We had to get a ride all the way back to the police station. Money was stolen from my wallet. We wound up filing several complaints, and it was found on video camera surveillance footage that the jail guard that was processing the property on camera just took the money right out of my wallet, then threw the wallet away. This case got sent to the prosecutor's office, and the prosecutors did a null pros. And they said, in the best interest of justice, we are dismissing this case because it didn't meet the burden. But judges rely on prosecutors when they get the case to say, we're not going to pursue it. But that's just like expecting a judge to actually do his job and see if there's probable cause to begin with, right? Most of the time, they just want to secure that conviction. They're not going to drop cases. They have qualified immunity. So even if they prosecute a bad case and the case gets overturned and that person wins a lawsuit, it's not on the DA. They still keep that prosecution. So let's jump into the next video here. This one comes from Judging Judges.
It was, what? I was in the passenger seat.
Stop. Don't. We'll get there.
I don't want to see you either.
Ms. Jackson, you now stand charged with possession of marijuana. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you.
Yes, Judge. On September 26, 2024, officers conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle bearing an expired agent tag. Officers made contact with the occupant of the vehicle. Defendant Cephas was arrested for a DWLI, and defendant Jackson had active warrants out of Webster PD. Officers conducted an inventory of the vehicle and located 2 small black bags containing a green leafy substance on the passenger side where defendant Jackson was sitting, and a backpack containing a firearm in the trunk. Substance was identified as marijuana based on training and experience. The weight was 4 grams or 0.141 ounces. The defendants denied ownership of both. The defendants were identified with Texas driver's license.
Okay, I have so many questions.
Yes, Judge.
So first off, you said defendants.
Yes,
plural.
there are two defendants, Your Honor.
So the driver,
Yes, Your Honor.
okay, and then the weed was found where?
Under the passenger seat where defendant Jackson was sitting.
In what?
In two small black bags.
How do you attribute the bags to her?
Your Honor, they were just located on the side of the vehicle where she was sitting.
So could be his. Okay, just puts it there. I don't know.
Yes, Your Honor, but the affirmative link would be in the proximity of where she was sitting as well.
Have anything else that identifies the bag as hers? The guy is the person's a guy, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so is there a lipstick? Is there anything else that would identify the bag as hers?
No, Your Honor. All we have is that it was located on the passenger side glove box, just those two small black bags.
Glove box.
Yes, Your Honor.
Absolutely.
It was in the glove box.
Stop it. Are you losing?
Yes, Your Honor. That's all we have.
Okay, I'm gonna find no probable cause. Be careful.
I love when he says that. He says, "Are you losing?" But to go back to, running from police is suspicious. Maybe to them, but it's not. Let's take a look at a video that I did where I ran from police. Quality's kind of bad. It was uploaded years ago, but just bear with me because you're going to get the context. So it starts off with this cop pulling up behind us. We're walking down the street. I see a cop. I run to prove a point. Running's not illegal, and to give this cop a verbal spanking. So you'll get the picture. Apologize for the quality.
Nope, we're good.
It's down. It's on your feet.
Okay.
That's up. This is down.
Quit.
What's your
I'm
name?
just showing you.
All right, you're dismissed. What's going on?
Brother.
Why,
Asking what's going
why
on.
are you here?
Because when I passed, you guys took off in different directions.
Is that illegal?
No, but it's
Okay.
definitely suspicious.
Which statute does suspicious
Oh, crap.
mean?
Is that a felony?
Is suspicion a felony?
Wait a minute. Guys, I'm just seeing what's going on.
All right, well, you're 10-8.
Stop.
You're 10-8.
No, I'm not.
You're 10-8.
What do you guys think? I think
Listen.
He's 10-8.
Just making sure.
Shh. Shh.
You have your ID on you?
Shh. What crime do you suspect me of committing?
Right now, you're being disorderly.
I'm not being disorderly by saying
What's your
shush.
ID, partner?
I need to give you ID. Who's the complainant? Do you have any victims here? And by saying
No.
shush, that's not
But I
disorderly.
don't know if someone else took off when I passed.
You don't need to know. Going in different directions is not a crime. State the statute.
even if somebody
I don't-
did
it's
take
called
off, it doesn't
Reasonable suspicion.
You have a reasonable suspicion what? To go in different directions? He just came from a different direction. Articulate.
articulate the crime.
Stay here for a minute. I'll be back.
Am I detained?
Are we?
Am I detained?
No, you guys can go.
Free to go. So if I'm free to go, I'm free to stay. I'm going to stay right here. What's your name and badge number, dude?
We got more time.
What's your? Thank you, sir. What's your name and badge number, man?
Hey, get out of here, Lola.
So there you go, right? Just going in a different direction from a police officer is not suspicious. And I insist you do it. Send me the video, okay? If you are doing nothing wrong, you see a cop, pull out your camera, you run in the other direction, send me that video, okay? And if you catch an arrest, we'll help you out with a defense attorney, and we'll set you up with a with a civil rights attorney, because this is how stupid they are, and they have the ability to kill people. Look at it this way: all they have to do is reach down 6 inches, and they can kill you based on feelings. Let's get back to the judge.
Careful with the company you keep. When you hang with dogs, you get fleas, Miss Jackson. You know this. Come on. All right, please, just take a seat. Good morning, Miss Wimbush. Ma'am, you are charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You're facing.
Okay, now she's being charged with interference with a public servant. In the meantime, Banana sent me this. Dear police, we know you aren't all bad, but as you put it, you fit a description. I love that. By the way, guys, if you check out the top of the chat, you will see pay links. If you guys never expected, always appreciated, you guys want to throw something our way, we always appreciate it. Certainly helps us keep going. And we reached a goal. The goal was, I think it was 10 super chats. I think we're close. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6 more to go. And I got a special surprise for you. Just trying the new things out on YouTube. Let's get back to the judge. She must be a terrible human being resisting a cop.
You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you.
On September 26, 2024, at approximately 1:15 p.m., an officer responded to a call at the TSU Library Center located at 3100 Claiborne Street in Harris County, Texas, regarding a disturbance. The officer made contact with the individual causing the disturbance, and the defendant approached asking officers what's going on and what did she do. The officers repeatedly asked the defendant to step back, and she became belligerent, asserting that they were at her store. She eventually complied and moved away, but she insisted that a police supervisor be called to the scene. TSU Sergeant Barnett arrived and spoke privately with the defendant. Afterwards, responding officer requested the defendant's information to report her.
Now listen, always ask for a supervisor. When I ask for a supervisor, I never do it expecting that the supervisor will change the situation or change the original cop's mind. That's not why I'm doing it. I especially ask for a supervisor if there's body cam. It's just more people I can sue and more money I can make when they want to violate my rights. Because if they violate my rights, they are going to pay every time without question, no exceptions, no exemptions. Now I have 2 different cops willing to violate my rights. So always ask for a supervisor.
Report her behavior to her supervisor in the university. The defendant refused to provide it and attempted to bypass the officer. When the officer asked her to identify herself again, the defendant declined and attempted to walk away. As the officer tried to detain her, she began to throw herself on the ground and yell, escalating the disturbance. Several officers issued verbal.
So let's go over this real quick. This woman has committed no crime. Up to this point, not even the prosecutor is alleging a crime exists or that had been committed. So she's not wanting to interact with, thank you, Jody. She's not wanting to interact with police. She chooses to walk away. It is not consensual. She does not want to have a consensual encounter with police. The police try and then put their hands on her, assaulting her. So she throws herself to the ground, and I love it. One of the best cases of this is actually from El Charro Negro Justice. Actually, Tuck Police Suck just posted an update video, a premiere, saying how all the charges had been dismissed. I suggest you go check out this video. And for simply peacefully sitting in the courtroom, they wanted to arrest him. This cop couldn't get anything on Charo, right? It took the cop 20 minutes until backup came, and they had to carry Charo out. He laid down. He didn't give them anything. Don't help them with the arrest. Why should this woman make the cops' job easier when they're assaulting her? Secondly, you cannot resist an arrest that hasn't taken place, okay? Resisting arrest is a secondary charge, right? You can be disorderly and then be arrested and then resist that arrest. You can commit assault and be arrested and resist that arrest. However, if you haven't committed a crime and the police put their hands on you and you resist, you can then not be charged with resisting arrest, right? Because no arrest had been effected for you to resist in the first place. Cops do this all the time. So let's watch what Judge Fleischer has, what he thinks about this.
Issued verbal commands for her, escalating the disturbance. Several officers issued verbal commands for her to comply. The defendant continued to resist, jumping around and asserting her rights. The officer attempted to escort her outside. The defendant then wrapped her, threw herself on the.
Now listen to what this cop even says in the police report. The defendant continues to exert her rights. So even the cops say she's not resisting. She's asserting her rights because she hasn't committed a crime. So all she's doing is trying to be free from a kidnapping.
On the ground and yell, escalating the disturbance. Several officers issued verbal commands for her to comply. The defendant continued to resist, jumping around and asserting her rights. The officer attempted to escort her outside. The defendant then wrapped her arms and legs around a pole, continuing to yell. The officers physically pried her from the pole and detained her. The defendant used her body weight to resist and push against the officers. The defendant was then placed in the back of the patrol car without intent.
Okay. What was she doing wrong?
So it appears she wasn't the initial person causing the disturbance, but when they came to respond to the disturbance that they were called for, she intervened.
So this seems clear to me. This seems clear of what this is. A cop can't have his time wasted and leave empty-handed. She's not even the person that we're called about, right? The police weren't responding for her. The police respond and they're excited. They get to arrest somebody. They get to take somebody to jail. And all of a sudden their hopes and dreams are dashed. They don't get to take anyone to jail anymore, but maybe there's somebody else around. They look to the left, they look to the right, and not only do they see a person, they see a black person, okay? Black people are dirty cop gold. It doesn't matter most of the time what they have done. They say, oh my God, not only is there another person around, there's a black person. My day just got better, right? This is how cops work.
And once they asked her to remove herself from the situation,
You didn't say, when you initially started saying about everything, you didn't say that she was the initial cause of the disturbance, that there was a call for a disturbance. They get out there and she, I guess.
So what it says is that they made contact with the individual that was causing the disturbance, and then the defendant approached asking.
See, right. So she just comes up, starts being nosy, right?
Right.
And then she basically, I guess, is trying to leave. And then they start asking her for her information.
Well, they were asking her to leave the scene so that they can respond to the disturbance, and she wouldn't comply. I think that's the issue, that she wouldn't leave when they asked her.
Did you say that?
Yes. They asked her to move away from the scene and she refused to comply.
Show me, will you read that part again?
Mm-hmm. So when she approached the officers repeatedly asked the defendant to step back, and the defendant became belligerent, asserting that they were at her store. She eventually complied and moved away, but
So she complies, she moves away.
Right. But then she came back.
Okay.
And so at that point, when she returned.
So you catch this, guys? This woman is at her store. She's investigating a disturbance that is happening at her store, and the only people causing the disturbance are police. Now, I don't see any of the police in the witness stand here. I'm going to have to do an update video and see if Judge Fleischer's got any videos or he's going at cops in front of him in his court.
They asked her to identify herself. She refused to provide her identification. And then at that point, when they asked her to identify herself, she attempted to bypass the officers.
She leaves. She's trying to leave.
She is attempting to, she's attempting to leave again.
And then they start bucking up to her.
Sure, yeah.
Judge, what is this case?
It's on for tomorrow's docket. Let me give you the cause number. 251-1137.
Sounds like an interference.
That's what she's charged with. But so sounds like she's got a case of the nosies, you know? She goes up there, allegedly being nosy, leaves, comes back, and then they start asking for her information. She declines to give her information.
So, Judge, what I'm looking at here, just to add context to the situation, she approaches in an unrelated incident, it looks like. She's asking what's going on. Fine. They talk to her individually. Okay. They tell her to leave. She continually asks what's going on. What did she do? She asserts, she becomes belligerent, is what the officer says, asserting that they were at her store.
Now, good question, Kentucky girl. Every court works differently. In some states and some municipalities, there is a police prosecutor, right? And that'll be just for misdemeanors, disorderly conduct, whatever. You will go in front of a magistrate, and the police prosecutor, not necessarily the cop that was there, but a police prosecutor will read the case, and you'll try and move forward. However, in most of the time, even in misdemeanors, but especially in felonies, the police officer might be in the courtroom, maybe not, but it's normally just the judge, the prosecutor, the defendant, and the defense counsel.
Obstructing their investigation. Eventually, I don't know what the time frame is, but they say eventually she complies, moves away, but insisted that they need to call a supervisor to the area. A sergeant then spoke with her privately. After they responded and they requested her information to report her behavior to her supervisor at the university, and to identify her, which she refused to do.
What? So there's a call for a disturbance. She's not the person. She's not the disturbance. She's at her store. She starts asking, hey, what's going on? You guys are at my store. This is my university. What's happening here? They tell her to leave, which they had no right to do because she's an agent of the property. Doesn't matter if this was on a sidewalk. She's an agent of the property. So she's allowed to be there. She comes back. They start harassing her. They want her ID. A supervisor shows up, and now the supervisor says, you're going to give me your ID because I want to report you to your boss because you're not being nice to us. She went to jail because the cops were butthurt. Not that they couldn't report her to her probation officer or to her sober house, or because she's a minor so they can report her to her parents. These cops arrested her because she didn't give her ID so they could tell her boss that she's not a bootlicker. Hey guys, come on. No probable cause.
She then attempts to bypass officers. They ask her for identification again. They're detaining her. She says no.
What's the interference? What did she specifically do?
Well,
she's just talking to them.
I understand, Judge. She's talking to them, but she's saying that they're at her store. She's belligerent, telling them to leave. They're at her store. The position of the state judge is that it did obstruct their investigation. I mean, it's not in this. There's multiple senses of obstruction, in our opinion.
And that's what it comes down to. And this awesome judge is not going to take it. Eventually, this prosecutor doesn't. And most of the time, they don't look at the case beforehand, right? The ADA or the DA gets the case in front of them. They go up and they read the police report. They do no studying. They don't talk to the police. So because judges normally never question them. When a judge does question them, they have no facts. They can't articulate a crime. And then they just shut down. When they understand that things aren't going their way and they look stupid, they just shut down and say, well, she did this, and that's the position of the state. We're working backwards again. The judge just helped you realize that you had no reasonable articulable suspicion to believe that a crime had been, was currently in the commission of, or was about to be committed, which means you could not articulate a crime, you could not properly conduct an investigation because you lacked evidence, so you failed to meet the higher burden of probable cause, right? So the arrest doesn't take place. Understand? Now, this is all unfolding. This is like a twine on a rope, slowly unraveling. And once the rope snaps, this DA should be saying, you know what, Judge, now that we're looking at this case and we've dissected it, you're right. No probable cause. The state moves for a null prosequi in the best interest of justice. No crime had been committed to effect this arrest. That's not what he's saying. He's doubling down. He's saying, well, you know what? I have no answers to your questions because there are no good answers to your questions. It's the position of the state that she broke the law. This is the justice system.
Opinion. It's not.
Are you losing right now? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not buying.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do it. All right, I'll find no probable cause.
I'll dismiss the case, Judge.
When you go up and you get into a piss.
Now look at this. So he says, I'll find no probable cause. And the DA says, I'll dismiss the case, Judge. You know what just happened? It's like when someone gets fired and you say, you're fired. And they say, nope, I quit. Because if the judge dismisses the case, no probable cause, that's a hit against the DA's prosecution record, their guilty record, right? They're not going to meet that 95% bar. So once the judge says, I'm going to dismiss the case, you're fired. He says, no, I quit. Now I'll dismiss the case, Judge. Now that you've talked me into it and I don't want to take a hit because I might be running again for prosecutor, I'll dismiss the case. Let's watch that part again. That's funny. Yeah, you can't fire me. I quit.
Probable cause.
I'll dismiss the case, Judge.
When you go up and you get into a pissing match with officers, who's going to win? Who's going to win? Every single time. If you go up and you mess with someone who has the power of arrest, you're going to lose every single time. Don't go. It's not hard.
Now, what he's saying is true. You mess with someone that has the power to arrest you, they'll just do it every time because they can. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. 707 people. I haven't been live in a while, so I really appreciate everyone being here. And, we got a lot of great videos coming up for you. So please continue to watch. Let's go over some super chats. I don't know if I have any other things in the agenda. Let me double check. Sometimes I have a really good video in the vault, and I forget to tell you guys. Let me see. The position of the state, right up behind you trying to stick it in. Oh, you guys are funny. Let's see. Let's see here. Oh, update for you. January is right around the corner. My lawsuit case, we've been breaking that down. Put a 1 in the chat if you've been following my lawsuit. Put a 2 in the chat if you knew nothing about it, because that's important news. We love doing updates here. Okay, so I'm just going to play the unedited video for you. So I am out in Boston, and I'm parked in the side of the road, and there's a cop, okay, a very, very lazy cop. And this handicap lady pulls up to me, sitting right in front of a handicap spot, and she says, she drives around the block 3 different times. It's Boston. It's hard to stop, especially where we're at. And finally, he tells her to go fuck herself, right? So I hear this, I get out of the car, and I want to make sure that there is a handicap placard, okay? And he was in a handicap place. Now let me pull this up for you here. So a lot of you are new here to the channel. Let's get you updated with this case here. We'll just do it real quick. Long story short, he assaulted me. And then I went to the police department to file a complaint. They wouldn't even allow me to file a complaint. We got everything on video. So let's play this here, and we'll tell you where we're at, okay? And there's an update. I'm suing Warren, New Hampshire. I'm sure you guys knew about that. They threatened arrest for being in a public place. I wound up calling the town's, my lawyer actually called their town lawyer during the audit. You see the cop come up to me and say, his butthole shrunk real good. And he said, your attorney just called our attorney. So, and then their attorney came down to town hall and made sure we get to go everywhere we wanted. A letter of intent has been sent out to them as of yesterday. So they're going to have 6 months to respond to that. So that's one lawsuit that is now, it takes 6 months. They get to kind of arbitrate it and, we want to move forward. No, we don't. If they don't do anything or try and settle after 6 months, then we file with the actual court. So that one's going to be in the books very quickly. You guys want to look this one up? It's Joshua Abrams versus the Boston Police Department. It's on the books. Go check it out.
I'm
sitting on a public sidewalk.
Next to my window and taking video.
Is that illegal? Is it illegal to go like this, Sergeant, officer? Is it illegal to do that?
You're making a thing. Am I in the handicap spot? No.
You're in a no parking zone, are
What
you?
are you talking about?
Dude, first of all, why don't you get in your car and leave? You just assaulted someone. Could I have a supervisor, please? Gang stalking. That's gang stalking.
Guys, let's talk about the victory that no one else knew until you guys right now. It took about 2 years to get to the point where my lawyer goes into court. And just so you know, Glick v. Kniff, the major case law, and then, of course, later Turner v. Driver solidifies, but Glick v. Kniff comes out of Boston, stating that you have a right to record public officials. The argument by the lawyers is that Boston, more so than anybody, has been trained significantly and substantially to know what someone's First Amendment rights are. Now, I knew this cop. I met him a couple years earlier, but I didn't recognize him because of the mask. He tried to do the same thing then. Once we get to court, the judge says, come on, Boston, you guys know way better. So why don't you go sit down and mediate? It doesn't look too great for trial. Go mediate. That means go sit down at a table with me and decide how much you're going to give me. And I'm going to tell you just how much I'm willing to take. So this guy, after this, he quit. He retired. So we got one bad one off the street. This is the first time you're hearing it, folks. This cop retired. He lives in Abington, I think. He tried dodging service for 2 months. Right? He had local police try and help him out. He had Boston police try and make phone calls for him. He dodged service for 2 months. We finally got him. We got him served. He quit. This guy is off the streets.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, man?
You gonna start again?
Huh?
You gonna start again?
Start what again?
Why are you filming?
Because I feel like it. Why don't you shut your mouth? Get out of the handicap place.
Didn't you learn the last time when you went to jail for robbing someone? Didn't you learn the
I
last
did.
time?
Why
Now
don't
you're
you back
back.
up? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, meet Officer Antonino of the D4 precinct in Boston, Massachusetts of the Boston Police. You've met him on one of my previous viral videos. The link is in the description, and you'll see a quick clip of that after this. Long story short, I'm filming him in his cruiser from the sidewalk. He immediately retaliates, obviously upset off of his previous viral interaction where he was a complete tyrant, gets out of the vehicle, continues to assault me, and when he realizes that someone else is filming the event, he quickly disperses. Watch to the end for the complaint. You get on the sidewalk.
Get on the sidewalk.
You get on the sidewalk. You have no idea who you're dealing with, do you? Yeah, see? De-escalate. Listen to your partner.
I am.
He's going to make this video much shorter.
You're the one.
Let's get what you got on your screen there. Let's make sure we get everything on your screen.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're not the one
perfect.
escalating.
Perfect. Shut your mouth and get moving. I don't feel like... No parking, huh?
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, man?
You gonna start again?
Huh?
You gonna start again?
Start what again?
Why are you filming?
Because I feel like it. Why don't you shut your mouth? Get out of the handicap place.
Didn't you learn the last time when you went to jail for robbing someone? Didn't you learn the last time? Now you back up. Now you back out. Now you back out. Now you back out.
Yo, I just got that. I just got that.
Back out.
I just got that.
Good, you got it. Good. Back up. Back the fuck up. Get away from my crew.
I didn't go near your cruise. I was making sure you didn't hurt my friend.
I'm talking to him. All right.
Why would you touch me like that?
But you put the camera in my face.
I'm sitting on the sidewalk. You're live.
You put the camera in my face.
Buddy, you're
when I
live
come
on
up
2
here.
cameras.
I was making sure you didn't
I'm
hurt
not
my friend.
talking to you. I'm talking to him.
Why would you touch me like that?
But you put the camera in my face.
I'm sitting on the sidewalk. You're live.
You put the camera in my face.
Buddy, you're
when I
live
come
on
up
2
here.
cameras.
Listen, you
Notice how Officer Antonino immediately refers and reverts to lying. He says that I put the camera in his face. You can obviously see that I'm standing on the sidewalk. Even with the zoom on, I'm not protruding past his window space. And as you can see, when this over-ego, deflated tyrant comes to assault me, watch the camera pan to the ground. Where am I standing in this view? Boom! On the sidewalk. Another lie from a cop. Are you surprised? I certainly am not, but that seems to be what they do at the Boston Police Department's District 4. Gilman, that's not trouble, buddy.
huh?
I'm standing on a public
Why you coming
sidewalk.
to my window and taking video.
Is that
for no
illegal?
reason?
Is it illegal to go like this, Sergeant, Officer? Is it illegal to do that?
You're making a thing. Am I in the handicap spot? No.
You're in a no
You have
parking
no
zone,
clue
are
what you're
you?
talking about.
Dude, first of all, why don't you get in your car and leave? You just
Listen,
assaulted someone. Could I have a supervisor, please?
Want me to go live?
Yeah,
go
go
live.
live.
Go live.
Could I have a supervisor, please,
Another
man?
fucking moron.
Oh, that's professional. Can I have a supervisor, please?
On this station, 50 p.m.
What's your name, man? What's your name? What's your name, buddy? What's your name? You assault citizens like that? What's your name, man?
You guys rolling the fuck up like that.
What's your name, man? Did you get that?
Yep.
That's my apology.
And notice how he says that he wasn't parked in a handicap space. I mean, we literally start the video off showing where he's parked. Well, let's go back to the beginning. I want to
Gang stalking.
turn the sound off because I show the sign where he's standing. So let's wait. This is when he does this little thing here. Here we go. I think we go right here. Now, this is still the intro. All right, so we're approaching him. I heard the incident with the old lady. I walked past him, and here we'll go. Let's see where he's parked. Look at that. In a handicap spot. Tow zone, but anyways, there's the handicap spot. So very clear that he was parked at a handicap spot. And the only reason I got out of the car and knew that is because the old lady was yelling at him to try and move. So I got out of the car just to, because I'm not like a cop. I try and make sure I know what I'm talking about. So I got out to make sure that, in fact, he was in a handicap spot. And who else is surprised that cops lie? Let's show you what they did when we went to file the complaint.
We're going to the PD, guys. Stand by.
I'm just gonna. All right, I'm gonna fill this out. All right. No. I don't know. I gotta run to the car real quick. I'm not gonna take that. Complaint. All right. You're not gonna take it? No. How can you not take a complaint against an officer that assaulted someone? He didn't assault you. He went over there. He sat on her ass. By standing on a public sidewalk? He started talking. But that's legal, man. You're looking for a fight. I'm not looking for a fight. You weren't looking for a fight. I'm being very polite to you, aren't I? I'm being very polite to this officer, right? I'm being polite to you. Fine. Well, I would like a complaint form. All right. Well, you go to headquarters. What's your name? So you're refusing my right to fill out a complaint? Oh, go to headquarters. Holy smokes. Yeah, so that all got them sued for $400,000. Sued him for $400,000. And he dodged service. That's how they're doing things. Hey, folks, Banana Anna's here. Make sure you subscribe to her. Check her out. I appreciate everyone here. Let's go over some super chats. Thanks, everyone, for being here. I won't forget that Anna has an OUI video she's doing tonight. I heard she'd been drinking. Maybe we'll give her a drink and then have her do the test. No, we won't do that. Jody Who, for today's Dunks run, damn, I miss those pumpkin donuts. They miss you. Banana Anna, I'm a member for as many numbers as your years old, babe. I'm not old. Kentucky girl, 19 months. Anna Mod, thank you. That's Anna's OUI test. Banana Anna, all super chats go to me. Thanks for spoiling me. JK, welcome Gregory the cameraman. He's a member now. Banana Anna again. Send you a text of someone milk drunk and dangerously cute. Jody, 7. JC News Now, 8. This would have made 10. I willfully submit to your cyber shilling. I consent to you applying funds as you see fit to any endeavor, privately or publicly. 10. Jody would make 11, actually. The position of the state right up behind you trying to stick it in, that would make 12. And power inherent in the people, we need to connect for sure. Shoot me an email, theafacrew@gmail.com. Oh, my man, Austin Murphy. Austin, thank you for your service, my man. That's Austin and his service gear. Badass vet. We really appreciate his work out there. Just a fantastic guy. I've made a lot of friends doing this YouTube thing, and I've met a lot of people that I hadn't met before. And it's good to see. It's good to see people out here connecting with each other. Maybe you watch me, then you watch another channel, you connect, and then you start going filming together. That's what this is all about, people connecting with each other. So we didn't quite reach the 15, but I'm going to discuss a prize for you anyways. I'm going to be going to my arbitration, my mediation with the Boston Police Department. And I have a strong suspicion that they're going to try and buy themselves out and not have to deal with this. And I want the people to be, inherently in charge in this situation. So your surprise is I am going to live stream the mediation. And I believe it's not going to be in a court. As long as if it's in a court, you can't stream it. But normally mediations take place at one or the other lawyer's office or at the office of a mediation attorney. And there is no law saying that I can't do that. So what would be interesting is if the police attorney said, oh, if you record, then we're not going to talk to you. Because that would be ironic, wouldn't? They're in this whole mess to begin with because they didn't respect someone's right to record. Let's just see if they've learned themselves a lesson. Anyways, guys, we will catch you in the next one. Thanks for being here. And that's the reason I stopped you today.